Arkansas is a state located in the southern region of the United States. Its name is of Sioux derivation, denoting the Quapaw Indians. The state's diverse geography ranges from the mountainous regions of the Ozark and the Ouachita Mountains, which make up the U.S. interior highlands, to the densely forested land in the south known as the Arkansas Timberlands, to the eastern lowlands along the Mississippi River and the Arkansas Delta. Known as the Natural State, Arkansas has many diverse regions that offer residents and tourists a variety of opportunities for outdoor recreation. Arkansas is the 29th largest in square miles and the 33rd most populous of the 50 United States. The capital and most populous city is Little Rock, located in the central portion of the state, a hub for transportation, business, culture, and government. The northwestern corner of the state, including the Fayetteville-Springdale-Rogers metropolitan area and Fort Smith metropolitan area, is also an important population, education, and economic center. The largest city in the eastern part of the state is Jonesboro. The largest city in the southeastern part of the state is Pine Bluff. The territory of Arkansas was admitted to the Union as the 25th state on June 15, 1836. Arkansas withdrew from the United States and joined the Confederate States of America during the Civil War. Upon returning to the Union, the state would continue to suffer due to its earlier reliance on slavery and the plantation economy, causing the state to fall behind economically and socially. White rural interests continued to dominate the state's politics until the civil rights movement in the mid-20th century. Arkansas began to diversify its economy following World War II and now relies on its service industry as well as aircraft, poultry, steel and tourism in addition to cotton and rice. The culture of Arkansas is observable in museums, theaters, novels, television shows, restaurants and athletic venues across the state. Despite her plethora of cultural, economic, and recreational opportunities, Arkansas is often stereotyped as a poor, banjo-picking hillbilly state, a reputation dating back to early accounts of the territory by frontiersmen in the early 1800s. Arkansas's enduring image has earned the state a special place in the American consciousness, but it has in reality produced such prominent figures as politician and educational advocate William Fulbright, former President Bill Clinton, former NATO Supreme Allied Commander General Wesley Clark, Walmart magnate Sam Walton, singer-songwriters Johnny Cash and Glenn Campbell, and noted physicist William L. McMillan, who was a pioneer in superconductor research. Etymology. The name Arkansas derives from the same root as the name for the state of Kansas. The Kansa tribe of Native Americans are closely associated with the Sioux tribes of the Great Plains. The word Arkansas itself is a French pronunciation of a Quapaw word, ʻārkənsɔː, meaning land of downriver people, or the Sioux word ʻārkənsɔː meaning people of the south wind. In 1881, the pronunciation of Arkansas with the final S being silent was made official by an act of the state legislature after a dispute arose between Arkansas's then two U.S. senators, as one favored the pronunciation as Arkansas while the other favored Arkansas. In 2007, the state legislature passed a non-binding resolution declaring the possessive form of the state's name to be Arkansas's, which has been followed increasingly by the state government. Geography. Boundaries. Arkansas borders Louisiana to the south, Texas to the southwest, Oklahoma to the west, Missouri to the north, as well as Tennessee and Mississippi on the east. The United States Census Bureau classifies Arkansas as a southern state, subcategorized among the west-south central states. The Mississippi River forms most of Arkansas's eastern border, except in Clay and Greene counties where the St. Francis River forms the western boundary of the Missouri Bootheel, and in many places where the current channel of the Mississippi has meandered from the location of its original legal designation. The state line along the Mississippi River is indeterminate along much of the eastern border with Mississippi due to these meanders. Terrain: Arkansas can generally be split into two halves, the highlands in the northwest half and the lowlands of the southeastern half. The highlands are part of the southern interior highlands, including the Ozarks and the Ouachita Mountains. The southern lowlands include the Gulf Coastal Plain and the Arkansas Delta. This dual split is somewhat simplistic, however, and thus usually yields to general regions named Northwest, Southwest, Northeast, Southeast, or Central Arkansas. These directionally named regions are broad and not defined along county lines. Arkansas has 7 distinct natural regions: the Ozark Mountains, Ouachita Mountains, Arkansas River Valley, Gulf Coastal Plain, Crowley's Ridge, and the Arkansas Delta, with Central Arkansas sometimes included as a blend of multiple regions. The southeastern part of Arkansas along the Mississippi alluvial plain is sometimes called the Arkansas Delta. This region is a flat landscape of rich alluvial soils formed by repeated flooding of the adjacent Mississippi. Farther away from the river, in the southeast portion of the state, the Grand Prairie consists of a more undulating landscape. Both are fertile agricultural areas. The Delta region is bisected by an unusual geological formation known as Crowley's Ridge, a narrow band of rolling hills. Crowley's Ridge rises from 250 to 500 feet above the surrounding alluvial plain and underlies many of the major towns of eastern Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas is part of the Ozark Plateau, including the Ozark Mountains, to the south of the Ouachita Mountains, and these regions are divided by the Arkansas River. The southern and eastern parts of Arkansas are called the lowlands. These mountain ranges are part of the U.S. Interior Highlands region, the only major mountainous region between the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains. The highest point in the state is Mount Magazine in the Ouachita Mountains. It rises to 2,753 feet above sea level. Hydrology: Arkansas has many rivers, lakes, and reservoirs within or along its borders. Major tributaries of the Mississippi River include the Arkansas River, White River, and St. Francis River. The Arkansas is fed by the Mulberry River and Fourche La Fave River in the Arkansas River Valley, which is also home to Lake Dardanelle. The Buffalo River, Little Red River, Black River and Cache River all serve as tributaries to the White River, which also empties into the Mississippi. The Saline River, Little Missouri River, Bayou Bartholomew, and the Caddo River all serve as tributaries to the Ouachita River in South Arkansas, which eventually empties into the Mississippi in Louisiana. The Red River briefly serves as the state's boundary with Texas. Arkansas has few natural lakes but many major reservoirs, including Bull Shoals Lake, Lake Ouachita, Greers Ferry Lake, Millwood Lake, Beaver Lake, Norfolk Lake, DeGray Lake, and Lake Conway. Arkansas is home to many caves, such as Blanchard Springs Caverns. More than 43,000 Native American living, hunting and tool-making sites, many of them pre-Columbian burial mounds and rock shelters, have been catalogued by the state archaeologist. Crater of Diamonds State Park near Murfreesboro is the world's only diamond-bearing site accessible to the public for digging. Arkansas is home to a dozen wilderness areas totaling 158,444 acres. These areas are set aside for outdoor recreation and are open to hunting, fishing, hiking, and primitive camping. No mechanized vehicles nor developed campgrounds are allowed in these areas. Flora and fauna: Arkansas is divided into 3 broad ecoregions: the Ozark, Ouachita Appalachian forests, Mississippi alluvial and southeast USA coastal plains, and the southeastern USA plains. The state is further divided into 7 subregions. the Arkansas Valley, Boston Mountains, Mississippi Alluvial Plain, Mississippi Valley Loess Plain, Ozark Highlands, Ouachita Mountains, and the South Central Plains. A 2010 United States Forest Service survey determined 18,720,000 acres of Arkansas's land is forestland, or 56% of the state's total area. Dominant species in Arkansas's forests include Quercus, Correa, Pinus echinata and Pinus taeda. Arkansas's plant life varies with its climate and elevation. The pine belt stretching from the Arkansas Delta to Texas consists of dense oak-hickory pine growth. Lumbering and paper milling activity is active throughout the region. In eastern Arkansas, one can find Taxodium, Quercus nigra, and hickories with their roots submerged in the Mississippi Valley bias indicative of the Deep South. Nearby Crowley's Ridge is only home of the tulip tree in the state, and generally hosts more northeastern plant life such as the beech tree. The northwestern highlands are covered in an oak-hickory mixture, with Ozark white cedars, Cornus, and Cercis canadensis also present. The higher peaks in the Arkansas River Valley play host to scores of ferns, including the Woodsia scopulina and Adiantum on Mount Magazine. Climate: Arkansas generally has a humid subtropical climate. While not bordering the Gulf of Mexico, Arkansas is still close enough to this warm, large body of water for it to influence the weather in the state. Generally, Arkansas has hot, humid summers and slightly drier, mild to cool winters. In Little Rock, the daily high temperatures average around 93 degrees Fahrenheit, with lows around 73 degrees Fahrenheit in July. In January, highs average around 51 degrees Fahrenheit and lows around 32 degrees Fahrenheit. In Siloam Springs in the northwest part of the state, the average high and low temperatures in July are 89 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, and in January the average high and lows are 44 and 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Annual precipitation throughout the state averages between about 40 and 60 inches, somewhat wetter in the south and drier in the northern part of the state. Snowfall is infrequent but most common in the northern half of the state. The half of the state south of Little Rock is more apt to see ice storms. Arkansas' all-time record high is 120 degrees Fahrenheit at Ozark on August 10, 1936. The all-time record low is -29 degrees Fahrenheit at Gravett on February 13, 1905. Arkansas is known for extreme weather and many storms. A typical year will see thunderstorms, tornadoes, hail, snow and ice storms. Between both the Great Plains and the Gulf states, Arkansas receives around 60 days of thunderstorms. Arkansas is located in Tornado Alley, and as a result, a few of the most destructive tornadoes in U.S. history have struck the state. While being sufficiently away from the coast to be safe from a direct hit from a hurricane, Arkansas can often get the remnants of a tropical system which dumps tremendous amounts of rain in a short time and often spawns smaller tornadoes.